going on, guys? Kigo here. Today we're going to be doing some fire starter muffins. I don't know if I've mentioned to some of you guys that I do a little side firewood business, and when I cut up the wood, obviously you get the sawdust. So I take the sawdust, mix it up with some wax, and put it in little muffin tins with a little piece of paper or whatever. Today I'm just going to be showing you guys how I go about making those, and then a little bit later on, when it gets a little bit darker, I'll go ahead and start one up and make a fire with that, just to show you how well they work. Before I did some in the past with cotton balls and Vaseline, and that lasted roughly 4 minutes or so, 3.5 to 4 minutes. But these little muffins, I actually have a couple already made. These last probably about 20 minutes or so. And I just, like I said, I just put them in the muffin tin. And these I have packed somewhat tight inside here, but not like really tight. And I've lit some of these, and they light, but I think that they would light a little easier with if I didn't pack them so tight. I did have a hard time lighting them with ferro rod or with some magnesium, so I'm gonna try to pack them a little less this time to see if they light any easier with the little ferro rod that I have. And also put a little bit in here. This is loose. So if you want to just spread a little pile on something to start some tinder, then you can do that. But let's go ahead and show you what I got here. So I went to Goodwill, and I got a bunch of old candles and stuff there. I had a bunch more, but I used them to make these and a whole box of other ones. I started kind of handing them out to people to see how they worked out. But I got all these wax candles for, I think, like $2. So it's really easy just to run to Goodwill and get some old candles they have there. And I don't think that it matters what type of wax you use. From all the videos I've seen on other places, any type of wax or paraffin, that works as well. And then this is just a bag of some sawdust that I had from the stuff we have outside. It's real fine. Some people use like wood chips, or they go to the store and grab like the bedding for like rabbits and stuff like that, and they just kind of put it in a blender just to make it a little bit finer. But I found this to work just as well. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be heating the stove up a little bit. We're going to just drop a little piece of it in there, melt it up, and then we're just going to kind of eyeball how much we put in. I was measuring it for this. I would put 3 ounces of wax for every 2 cups of sawdust, and that seemed to work alright. That's what these are. So I'm gonna put this in and then kind of eyeball the sawdust inside. So let's go ahead and drop it in, and then when it's all melted, I'll come back and show you what we got. Alright, so I got my half cup sawdust. I'm just gonna go ahead and spread it in, and you're gonna see it fizz a little bit, obviously just because it's at a boiling point. So you can go ahead and turn it down sooner than it's all done melting. That way it's not so hot. The good thing I like about the colored wax, I did some with the red candle, is that you can actually tell when all this stuff is kind of saturated with the wax. Because if it's just white, and you can't really tell too much. Yeah, it's a little bit darker color, but it's kind of hard to tell. But at least with the blue, these are the blues, you can see it. You can tell when it's all saturated. So I'm gonna take this off. Off. We'll go ahead and add a little bit more sawdust in there, so bear with me. I added just a little bit more. I probably could have gone with the 2.5. I mean the 2 cup. With the amount of wax that I used, I didn't measure the wax out, so it did look a little bit more than the 3 ounces that I usually use. So. But yeah, let me go ahead and get this mixed up, and then we'll go ahead and start putting it in the muffin. Alright, so I went and got all this stuff set up. Here's my pan. What I'm just gonna do, kind of hard to do this with one hand, is just take a scoop, and I'm not gonna pack it. I'm just gonna kind of set it in. I'm just gonna keep doing this until all the sawdust is gone. So I'll go ahead and fill these up, and I'll show you what I got when I'm done. Alright, I got these filled up, and like I said, I didn't pack them tight, but I just kind of set it in and kind of just leveled it out, so they're loose, but they're still a little warm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes. If I got room, yeah, I got room. And then in about 15 minutes I'll pull them out, and then just to cool them down. Yeah, I'll pull them out and show you what's up. Alright, it's starting to get a little darker out, and I just kind of pre-built something there, and I'm going to show you on the ground here what I did to build that. I've seen a lot of videos of these things called reverse fires or upside down fires, and pretty much what you do is you start with the big logs on the bottom. So instead of lighting something and then building around it, you build all the thicker stuff on the bottom. So what I have on this in here is just 4 pieces on the bottom, and then I have 4 slightly smaller pieces here and here, here and here. Sorry, 6 pieces. Lift a little bit of gap in the bottom or in the middle. Then I put 6 more pieces on top of that. My dog trying to eat these muffins. They ain't real muffins, buddy. So then on this one here, I used what was in here. It was kind of like just loose. It wasn't packed at all. I can't really see too much of that, but it was just loose stuff. So I sprinkled some down in here, and then I went ahead and got smaller pieces, even smaller pieces. Barely get your fat head out of here. And laid them down. And then I broke some of the smaller pieces in half and kind of laid them down on top of that. And then since I'm full of dead grass over here, pretty much all I did was just kind of just pulled some up and just sprinkled it on up here. So I sprinkled some on the top, some down on the bottom, so the stuff on the bottom will light the sawdust lighting stuff on the bottom side, and then also just try to pack a little bit down and put it on top. So the concept of this fire is that all the stuff on top starts to burn, and it starts to burn all the smaller stuff. Then all the coals and stuff from the smaller pieces will burn down and burn the next layer, and so forth and so on. And also, if the ground's wet, it'll help. If the ground's wet, or if some of the bottom pieces are still a little bit damp or green, it'll dry out those wood and dry out the ground around the area. So this is the can, the dip can, and we'll go ahead and try to start up with the flint and steel shit that I got, ferro rod or what have you. So let's go ahead and set up the camera and see what we can do. You can see that it's kind of lit now. We'll see how far down this burns. Yeah, I can see underneath. Some of the stuff underneath was already, the stuff that I spread down there is lit, and it's lighting all the smaller pieces on top. And there you go. Alright, this next one is going to be the same concept, pretty much. What I did is I took half the muffin. Because it wasn't packed, I was able to break it up real nice and easy. And so I just kind of sprinkled some down here in the middle. What I'm going to try to do is, again, take some grass, sprinkle it down there, just a little bit. And I guess this time what I'm going to do is instead of starting on top, I'm just gonna try to light it from the top and then place these clothes in. That way it'll start. So let's go ahead and see how that works out. Alright, so we've got a flame. So I'll go ahead and stack this stuff up. So that's that. And then I'll go ahead and put this out, and we'll go ahead and put some new tinder on top, or some kindling on top, and try the third option. Alright, so the third option you can try is the whole muffin itself inside the muffin cup. I put some more grass on top just to get that to start. Obviously this will be a lot easier if you have matches or a lighter or magnifying glass. I'm just choosing to do this with this rod and steel. So let's go ahead and try to start this up. So now the paper was caught. It's caught a little bit right there. Well, of course, me fucking with it. And this is one of the issues that I thought would happen with this how it's packed so tightly. It doesn't want to start too well. And I guess it wouldn't really be a problem if you have like no wind like today, but you know, on the off chance you get into a instant where it's windy, it's raining, then you know that could be a problem. But for right now, they're fine. But there you go. So it starts. And we'll let this start and just burn all the wood I have here, just to show that you can actually get a good fire going. So let's go ahead and just take a break, and then we'll come back to it. Alright, so it started. Obviously you see the flames, you still see the basic layout. And like I said, what it does is just burns from top to bottom. And then once it's lit, you can throw a couple more pieces on top. But it also dries out the logs underneath, as well as dries out some of the ground below, so you're not having a fire in on the damp ground. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little video how to. If you guys got any questions, comments, complaints, concerns, as always, please leave them in the comment section below. So you guys take care and stay safe. Eagle out.